Welcome to our picks for Week 12 in the Canadian Football League. I'm John Hodge, joined by the first time in a while by JC Abbott. And you know what they say? Reunited and it feels so good. Oh, yeah. How's it going, JC?
It's going pretty good. I was picking the Red Blacks so much they sent me off to Siberia. So I've learned my lesson. I've come back a humble man, pleading for your forgiveness.
I am excited to see if you pick the Red Blacks this week. We do not discuss picks before the show. All of our reactions in real time are live, and we've got a heck of a spread. We'll get into the picks in just a moment, but before we do that, we should talk about our records because it has been a little bit. Straight up, JC, you are still ahead of me. 31-11. I'm 29-13. But I did get 2 games on you last week. You only went 1-3. I went 3-1. And then against the spread, we are neck and neck. You are 25-17. I'm 24-18. But again, I got a game up on you. I went perfect against the spread in week 11, which thrilled me because I went 0-4 against the spread in week 10. And I was not a happy camper. I was peeved all week. So I'm thrilled to be back on the winning side.
Very impressive, Hodge. The shine has come off the Just Cash moniker a little bit as of late. It's been just mistakes, but hopefully we're on the right track.
Just crap. Those have been the picks. Just crap. Let's get back to just
This is
cash.
a family-friendly show, Hodge. Come on now.
Is crap not a family-friendly word? I say it in front of my niece and nephews, so if that makes me a bad uncle, I apologize. Let's get into the picks, JC. The Ottawa Red Blacks will visit the Montreal Alouettes on Thursday night, and the game has the widest spread of the season at 12.5 points. Niles Morgan is a game-time decision for the Red Blacks at middle linebacker, while the Alouettes are getting 4 defensive starters back from injured reserve, including Mustafa Johnson, Jeffrey Canton-Narku, Najee Murray, and Wesley Sutton. Is there any chance that Ottawa can snap a modern CFL record 15-game losing streak and get the miraculous upset? Or will the suddenly healthy Alouettes keep rolling over the competition?
Well, as I alluded to off the top of the show, Hodge, I've picked the Ottawa Red Blacks in 3 straight weeks. In 3 straight weeks, they have let me down. You know what they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm probably an idiot. So I'm not doing it again. I cannot take the Red Blacks in this circumstance, most of all because it's a short week. You've got a bad team on little rest playing arguably the best team in the CFL with lots of healthy bodies coming back. I would not be surprised if this was a slaughter. This 12.5 point spread does not scare me one iota. I still believe the Red Blacks will get a win this season. It's not coming off against the Owls on a short week. Pound, pound, pound Montreal in this game.
I'm not going to pound Montreal in this game because I think that the spread is really wide. That being said, I'm still taking it. I'm taking the Owls to win and cover. They're coming off a bye. The Red Blacks are on a relatively short week, and I don't think the Red Blacks have thrown in the towel. I spent some time at their team hotel doing some media work in Winnipeg this past week, and this doesn't seem like a team that's rolled over. This doesn't seem like a team with bad energy. Ryan Dinwiddie has talked many times about trying to keep a positive attitude. And I think that's the right way to go, right? When your team is losing, sometimes it can be easy to get grumpy, yell at your guys, yell at them. But it's like, at a certain point, you can't go into a situation with like, okay, beatings will continue until morale improves. Like you have to approach your job with joy, with fun. And that's what Ryan Dinwiddie's talked about. And I like that. So I like the attitude. I'm on record as saying I think the Red Blacks are going to win multiple games this year, but I don't think this is the week. This is an unbelievably tough test for any team in the Canadian Football League going into Montreal with that Alouettes team coming off a bye, getting all of these starters back. They were without a third of their starting defense 2 weeks ago against the Elks, and they slowed down that Edmonton offense really well. Getting these starters back, as long as they don't take the Red Blacks lightly, I think they win this game by at least 15 points. So give me the Alouettes to win and cover. I don't like eating this many points, but this is a rare instance where I don't hate doing so.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will visit the Edmonton Elks on Friday night, where the green and gold are 5.5 point home favorites. The Blue Bombers are coming off a win, though it came over the lowly Red Blacks and included a fair number of mistakes, including a dropped touchdown catch from Ontario Wilson. It appears the Elks are unlikely to have Kenneth Logan Jr. back in the lineup, as he has yet to practice due to the knee injury that kept him out last week, though the club romped over the Argonauts 42-12 last week. Who will win this West Division affair?
I think you got to take the Edmonton Elks, and that's not to say the Blue Bombers are a bad team. They're not, but the Elks are a cut above right now, right? The Edmonton Elks have proved recently that they can hang with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They got dusted a bit by the Montreal Alouettes, but they then came back and played, kind of an average 500-ish football team in the Toronto Argonauts and blew the doors off of them. And that's what I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are right now. They're an okay-ish, 500-ish football team. You love what you saw with Brady Oliveira. We talked recently on the show about how the Bombers have to get him more involved in the passing game. They did exactly that against Ottawa. It paid huge dividends. That said, the rest of the passing game was not up to snuff. Zach Collaros is holding the ball way too long. Ontario Wilson, as you mentioned, JC, had the terrible drop in the end zone. And then defensively, I still think that this Blue Bombers defense that has been excellent through the air the last couple of years with this kind of new look scheme that they have has been vulnerable. And I like their pass rush more than I had in past years, but it hasn't been enough to offset the difficulties they've had in the secondary in that passing game. And meanwhile, like, you have to love what the Elks are doing, right? They're getting Justin Rankin going again. Commonwealth Stadium, I'm not going to say is a big home field advantage at this point, but they're starting to fill that building a whole heck of a lot more than they did in recent years. There should be some good energy, some good buzz in that building on Friday night. And this team is simply far more competent. They've got more young playmakers. They're playing at a faster level. Defensively, I like what the Elks have done. Offensively, I like what the Elks have done. And special teams, they've been great as well. Vincent Blanchard, excellent season kicking the ball. Jake Julian back to his form, punting the football. Javon Leake has been great. And they've got some really great teamers as well covering down. So I like the Edmonton Elks to win this game. I don't love giving up this many points. I kind of thought with the Bombers getting a double-digit win last week, you might be able to get the Elks here -2, -3. I don't love giving away the 5.5 points, but I'm going to do it. I think the Elks are the better football team. I'm picking them to win and cover.
Well, hell hath no fury like Mark Killam with a chip on his shoulder. I'm all on the Elks in this game because I think that 2-game slide against the two of the best teams in the CFL in Montreal and Saskatchewan lit a fire under this green and gold team. They know that they're better than that. They know they can beat those teams because they have in the past, and they didn't like the way those results came out. They didn't like some of the criticism they got during it. They showed that last week with that dominant victory over the Toronto Argonauts, particularly in the second half, and I believe they'll show it again against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. To me, the Blue Bombers are just not a reliable team to bet on this year. They're inconsistent. They make massive mistakes, and the Edmonton Elks are the opposite of that. This is a team that can overcome significant mistakes to beat strong opponents as they have in the past, but are giving you a solid result every single week in terms of what they can do on offense and on defense. I believe that they can win this game and win it handedly. This 5.5 point spread does not scare me at all.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats will visit the Toronto Argonauts on Saturday evening, where the Boatmen are 4.5 point home favorites, despite coming off a 42-12 loss to Edmonton this past week. It appears Trey Ford will start under center for Hamilton, as Harrison Frost was limited in practice on Tuesday with a back injury. Head coach Scott Milanovich has also been away from the team due to personal reasons, though the club wrote in a statement to 3Down Nation indicating they anticipate he'll rejoin the team in time for Saturday's game. He is also still, despite being away, involved in their preparation for that contest. On the flip side, the Argonauts appear ravaged by injury, as starters Kevin Mattel, Mackay Polk, Ryan Hunter, Jonathan Kongbo, Deshaun Amos, Bubba Bolden, and Benji Franklin are all on the injury report this week. That doesn't mean they're all necessarily out, but they're all at least banged up right now. Who will win the Battle of Ontario?
I have the Hamilton Tiger Cats here pulling the upset. I just don't think that the Toronto Argonauts are healthy enough to be able to be favorites like they are in this game at this current stage. And let's not forget, it was only a few weeks ago that the Hamilton Tiger Cats defeated the Toronto Argonauts with Trey Ford at the helm. Now, critics will say that was only a 1 point victory at home, but let's also remember that game had the Ticats ravaged so much along the offensive line that they had to play the entire second half with Max Mang, their German tight end, playing left guard. That's not going to happen this time around. Now the injuries are flipped to the other side. I believe Trey Ford can come in, have a strong performance at against what has been an inconsistent Toronto defense, even when they are healthy, and truly make another statement for the Tabbies. I've got Hamilton in this one.
I will never forget watching 262-pound Max Mung play guard, the first ever Ozempic offensive lineman in the Canadian Football League. That was wild. He did well considering that he was 40 pounds underweight for that position. But yeah, a wild circumstance there. Look, this is a really tough game to pick a couple of days out. I would much, much, much rather pick it with the depth charts out so we can see exactly how this Argonauts team looks. But without the depth charts as of this recording, I'm going to go ahead and hedge my bets here. I'm going to take the Toronto Argonauts to win, but I'm going to take the Hamilton Tiger Cats to cover. 4.5 points is more than I think this game reasonably should be. And I think, Trey Ford is chaos, right? We've seen him have high highs just this season. That second half this past week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, unbelievable. That touchdown pass to Carrick Wheatfall, one of the best plays of the year. We've also seen some low lows, right, from Trey Ford this season. So to me, without enough information to really make an informed pick, and who knows, maybe a lot of these starters for the Argonauts are going to be full bore. They're going to start. Maybe they'll all be out and it'll be chaos. I don't know at this point. But without a lack or without a lot of information, with a lack of information, I think it's best to hedge your bets. So I will take the Toronto Argonauts to win. I do think at full strength right now, the Argonauts are a better team than the Tiger Cats. I would not be saying that if Bo Levi Mitchell was in the lineup, but he's not, and he won't be anytime soon. But I will take the Tabbies to cover.
You heard it here first, folks. John Hodge, professional fence sitter.
Hey, I don't like when people sit on the fence with enough information. I don't think there's anything wrong with sitting on the fence when you don't have enough information.
Well, if you don't like enough information, this game is for
Oh,
you.
no. Oh,
The
no.
Saskatchewan Roughriders will visit the BC Lions on Sunday night, where the Leos are 1.5 point home underdogs. As of this recording, neither of these teams have practiced this week, so we're flying blind here in terms of injuries and who may or may not be back in the lineup. Based solely on vibes, since that's all we have to go on, who will you take in this matchup in Vancouver?
Yeah, I don't like making picks on vibes, and that's why I'll encourage all of our listeners, our viewers, to check out 3downnation.com. As the week progresses, we will have a good idea who's playing this game, even maybe later on Wednesday. We're recording this Wednesday morning, but certainly by Friday. And then, of course, we'll get the depth charts officially on Saturday morning, and you'll get some more informed insight and analysis on the website then. But for right now, we don't have anything to go on. So I'm going to take the BC Lions. And the reason for that is this. The Riders have been unbelievably beat up as of late. We all know that AJ Ouellette is out, Kian Schaefer-Baker's out, Samuel Emelis is out. It's possible some of those guys will be back this week, but we have not seen any evidence of that. And one thing we do have evidence of, JC, is Keyshawn Johnson got banged up late in that game against Hamilton. And this passing game, I thought, did a great job of withstanding the first injury to Kian Schaefer-Baker, an okay job of withstanding the second injury. Uh, but if the big three, Johnson, Schaefer-Baker, and Emelis are all out for Trevor Harris, that puts an unbelievable amount of pressure on him in the run game. But guess what? Their backup running back, Quali Conley, is also out. Like, this is a team that is banged up. They're also banged up on the offensive line. Left guard has been a complete adventure as of late. So offensively, I just think the Riders are at a huge disadvantage here against a BC Lions defense that, after being miserable to start the season, has, I think, quietly been excellent over the last 6 weeks or so, including being the number 1 team against the run. So, for me, this is, an easy choice, at least right now,
Mm.
based on, we'll call it vibes. I'm gonna take the BC Lions. Nathan Rourke, I think, is gonna continue to knock off the rust that has plagued him since he returned from injury, and the Lions are certainly the healthier team between these 2.
Well, you and I differ significantly because I love picking off vibes. That's all I do every single week. That's how I judge my picks, which way the wind blows. And right now, the wind is blowing in the direction of the BC Lions. This is a team that's figuring it out. They're coming off 3 straight victories. Their offense is only getting better every single week with Nathan Rourke returning to form, with their receivers healthy, with Xander Horvath providing a different dynamic in the backfield. I am all on the BC Lions right now. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as you've laid out, Hodge, are going in the opposite direction. Now, I do believe they'll figure it out in the end. This is a deep team. Some of the victories they've been able to make while they've had those injuries has been impressive to this stage. But there's just too many components missing right now. There's too many players banged up for me to consider them to be legitimate road favorites currently. I know BC Place isn't considered the biggest home field advantage, but it's certainly enough to knock off a team that's missing most of its offensive starters or key offensive pieces, I should say. I think the Lions are going to run with this one and they'll knock off the Saskatchewan Roughriders, make the West Division just a little bit more interesting.
Those are our picks for week 12 of the Canadian Football League. And our video listener or our video viewers will see this. Our listeners can't. I'm wearing my Baltimore Stallions hat. I'm wearing it in honor of the late OJ Brigance, who passed away at age 56 this week due to ALS. Our condolences to his family members and friends. Brigance, the only person ever to win a Grey Cup and a Super Bowl for the same city, spent 5 years in the Canadian Football League, including a 1995 Grey Cup victory with the Stallions, and then, of course, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens in 2000. So, our condolences to him. And we thank you, as always, for listening to our picks, checking us out. Please come back. We might have a Sunday podcast this week. We might be Monday. We like doing the pod on Sunday, I think, but we do have a game on Sunday, so that makes it a little more complicated. So we might be back to Monday. Our schedule will be, I think, a little more solid after Labor Day, because post Labor Day, the CFL schedule becomes very solid. But right now, it's in flux for the next few weeks, especially with Labor Day coming up. Labor Day is always a bit of a funky schedule, but we'll figure it out. For JC Abbott, I'm John Hodge. We'll see you next time.